issues are on the rise. All of them. There's more anxiety, there's more depression, there's more ADHD than ever before. So common sense would say what we're doing isn't working. Right? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So we need to make a change. Okay, we need to look at what we're eating, how we're taking care of our bodies. Most gas stations now make more money on food than on gas. Okay, and I'm not saying my little nephew told me that the breakfast sandwiches at the gas station are unbelievable. And that's okay once in a while. But if that's a daily ritual, then there's a problem, right? It's at some point, if you don't change the oil, the car breaks down. Okay, you have to tend to the garden, right? You have to tend to the body, or you're going to get results you don't want. So why? I mean, increased use of antibiotics, C-sections, and my son was emergency C-section. I'm not saying when you need it, they're not great, but 30% of births, it's a lot. Formula, we're doing a lot more formula, lots of processed foods, lots of sugar. These poor kids, and now they don't get PE'd every day. I mean, I was as high energy a kid as you could imagine, but at least I got PE every day. So now we give the kid a bunch of sugar, right? Usually you start the day, it's cereal, sugar, milk. High percentage of the population intolerant to milk. And then you go, send them to sit in class for 8 hours, can't move, no PE. It's just not fair. Okay, so they're all on the rise. It's getting out of hand. We need to do something about it. Usually we go to drugs. Depression, I mean, be very, very careful with depression medication. Okay, because the side effects when you get in high doses is suicidal depression. Columbine on depression medication, the kid at Virginia Tech on depression medication. Those drugs especially are not to be played around with. Be very careful. Be very mindful of what you're putting in your body. Ritalin and Adderall have the same classification as cocaine. Literally. We're giving them to kids without thinking. I'm not saying here and there in little quantities that these things can't help. But let's have an exit strategy. Okay? And let's be aware and understand what we're doing. So if you want to heal anything, you got to look at it physically, right? You got to look at the structure, you got to look at it mentally, and you got to look at it chemically. And they all interconnect. And the biggest thing with emotional issues is you got to look at the gut. Serotonin is produced in the gut and then goes up and helps moderate mood control. So if your gut's a disaster, which is happening more and more, then it's going to be very hard for your body to control the mood. And with all the sweeteners we're on and whatnot. So you got to be careful. Now dairy, and I have a lot of patients that are dairy farmers, and it's just if you're intolerant to dairy. So you can take a test and find that out. If you're not and you love milk, get whole raw milk. Okay? Whole milk, because the best thing about milk is good fats. And try to get it from a cow-that-ate grass, because now you're getting omega-3 fats. And see, the reason you have to be more educated now than we did, say, 30 years or 50 years ago probably, is when my grandma 50 years ago was a little girl and got beef, cow ate grass, had omega-3s, didn't have to think about it. Got milk, cow ate grass, had omega-3s, didn't have to think about it. Didn't have factory farms. Didn't load animals up with antibiotics to keep them alive and growth hormones. Or it wasn't even an option. You didn't have to know that that was going on. There wasn't GMO. So now there's a lot of options, so you got to really be educated. So sugar and caffeine. And sugar, people think because there's no sugar in it, there's no sweetener. Artificial sweeteners are worse. There's kind of like a hierarchy of sweeteners. Honey, molasses, brown sugar are the best, then white sugar, then high fructose corn syrup, then artificial sweeteners are the worst. And every study shows they actually cause you to gain more weight long term because it affects your brain's ability to control satiety, feeling full, because you get something that's sweet, You think you're getting some carbs, something the body can use, and you get nothing, so it messes with the brain. And grains too, be careful too, because if you get like, there's a guy in town that's now making bread the proper way, right? Where it ferments 3 to 4 days and it breaks it down. A lot of people that are gluten intolerant wouldn't be gluten intolerant if they ate bread the way it was made, 70 years ago, 50 years ago, where you let it ferment for a long period and really broke everything down. Problem is, you can't, the economy, right? We gotta go, we gotta get this bread, we gotta get it out, boom, 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 boom. So we didn't really test what does that quick fermenting process do to the human body. Well, when you don't break it down, then a lot of people can't process it. And so you see a lot of these issues. So if you get properly made, like sourdough that really fermented, it's different. And it's gonna be more expensive, but you can eat your bread, you're getting something with nutrition that you can actually eat, and it's not gonna affect you. So sugar and artificial sweeteners, they create chronic inflammation, they suppress BDNF, it's a big long word, it doesn't matter. It just promotes healthy brain cells. The World Health Organization recommends 25 grams of sugar a day. 1 can of soda is 35. So you see how that could do. Soda's here, maybe a nice big thing of ketchup there, a lot of sugar, and you can see how your sugar intake could get really out of hand if you're not paying attention. And again, switching to no sugar is not the end. Now there's no one who loves an ice cold Coke more than me. Let's just keep it like on a Friday, Saturday deal. And let's go during the week, if you're healthy, let's go during the week, let's drink water. Okay, or whatever, have some juice and different things. If you have one once in a while, it's okay. It's just when it's like every day, 2-3 times a day, that you get some trouble. And it said caffeine. You can have a little bit of caffeine, right? You can have a cup of coffee. The problem is the 10 cups of coffee, all with 5 sugar packets. Now it's a problem. So sweeteners, look at your breakfast. And who goes to Starbucks and gets a black cup of coffee? It's probably like 5% of their. It's probably like 5% of their market. So just try to get back to real food. And then the glutens and the grains, it creates chronic inflammation. And studies have shown significant improvement in ADHD when you limit it. Fruits, vegetables. Healing takes time, guys. So when you start this process, that's the hard part of natural. You do things holistically, you do things naturally, it doesn't happen overnight. The drug changes things instantly, but it comes at a cost, right? Because every drug has a side effect. So soft tissues, and then genetics. That's maybe the biggest thing you have to change is, it's my genetics, Genetics, 3 to 7% of disease. I was just reading something, they're thinking it's less, thinking it's like 1%. There are some issues that are genetic. I'm not saying there aren't, but the vast, vast majority are habits. And sometimes they're out of your control, but it's habits. And if your mindset is, it's out of my control, right? It doesn't matter, then why? You're not going to change. Why would you put down a glazed donut from Angerson's, it's so good, and pick up broccoli if it doesn't matter? You have to believe that it's going to make a difference, or you won't make any kind of lasting change. And if you really want to make big changes, I would get a partner. Your spouse, very difficult to do it on your own. Just like a workout, if you have someone there that's meeting you there, right, it's very hard not to show up. It's very hard to quit. But if you're going on your own, like the AAs and those things, they're smart. They know how to get people together, you get them connected. The support and the accountability, if you really want to make change, is huge. So again, real quickly, you got to look at your health like checking in withdrawals, right? You don't have to be Mother Teresa over Labor Day weekend. I definitely wasn't, okay? But that's part of the time. So the weekends, have fun, do whatever. For the weekdays, let's be disciplined. Let's eat the right stuff. Let's drink the right stuff. And then once in a while, if you want to be naughty and have fun and you just don't feel like cooking, that's fine. I think the Packers are playing Thursday night. I'll probably have some pizza, but that's once in a while. Okay, but if you're sick and you really want to make change and make it quickly, there can be no off days for a while. 1, 2 off is how I was raised. That's how I've raised my kids so far. If you want more info, we have an email newsletter you can sign up for. We're going to do more workshops again. I'm all over social media with Gardner Schofield. You can follow. We put out a lot of stuff to try to help you just be healthy. So what can you do to improve your digestion, your gut? We know it's important. Probiotics, right? Probiotics really important. Good gut bacteria. Helps break everything down. Yogurt's not enough. Okay, and like Florigen and Walgreens and these different companies, I would go get a high quality probiotic from an organic food store, a chiropractor, a naturopath, an acupuncturist. Get a the problem with supplements is 2 things. You either don't do enough, right? We take a maintenance dose when we're trying to heal. We take a maintenance dose when you have healed to maintain. So usually you got to triple a maintenance dose. And you don't get a good quality source. They did studies on like some of the Costco brands. And I shop at Costco. It's a great store. I'm just saying I want to get my supplements there. Lots of times there's a lot of fillers. So I would go to someone who, like some kind of all-natural provider, and get them there. The probiotics are so important. You don't want to take the supplement, that's okay. You can eat fermented foods every day. I have some German patients, when you tell them they can eat a whole bowl of sauerkraut every day, they get excited. So you can do that, fermented foods, sauerkraut, some pickles, if it's done properly, kimchi. Fermented foods are unbelievable. So healthy. You can drink kombucha or kefir, you can make your own. You get the SCOBY, you put some fruit in it, and you can make your own. Have a glass or 2 of that every day. Very healthy. If you're a do-it-yourself person, you can get on Pinterest or YouTube. You can do it, no problem. The gut's really, really important. If you have a kid, who's struggling, let's try to get maybe a glass of kombucha in the morning or a probiotic. Just throw it in their juice. Let's get some probiotics and then do it again when they get home. Load their body up with probiotics. Load them up. If you were C-section birth, formula fed, and I'm not saying anything else, but you cut out like the 2 main ways our bodies were designed to get probiotics. Vaginal birth, you get probiotics through that, and then breastfeeding and nursing, you get probiotics that way. So if you don't do those 2 things, sometimes you can't. You just need to know that. You need to know, I need to get probiotics in my child some way. What we did with my son, because he was an emergency section, my wife would pump, and then we would just take a capsule and dump it in to make sure, and he would have a bottle along with the nursing just to make sure he got extra. So again, a lot of different ways you can get it. And if you're doing antibiotics, if you've ever done it, while you're going through it, load up on the probiotics and load up after for another 3 months. I see so many of my patients went through a round of antibiotics and all of a sudden they have acid reflux. All of a sudden they have allergies. All of a sudden they have asthma. When you deplete the gut, that good biome in there, the effects are far-reaching. The difference between like a holistic practitioner like us, what I do, and a lot of the good quality chiropractors and naturopaths versus say a medical, not that they help people a ton, but they're going to look here, right? Broken bone, fix the bone. That's great, that'll save your life. But just because the gut's bad, or anxiety, they're going to look here, but it could be the gut could be involved, it could be the nervous system, it could be when you're going to want to heal, you have to look at the body holistically. Right? If the tires are wearing out, you don't just keep changing tires, you look at the frame, maybe the frame's out of alignment. So the body's all interconnected. Vitamin D, really important. In the summer, get out. Summer's over. So, unfortunately. So you can supplement. And vitamin D helps on many things, but really good. And a lot of my patients who have ADHD kids and autistic kids, they notice when they get outside in a lot of sunlight, the kids do much better. So you can supplement, just a rough estimate of what you want. People say different amounts. The best thing is to go away more and then taper back. Omega-3s, like we said, they're crazy and we need them a lot now because a lot of the ways we used to get them aren't there. Unless you get grass-fed beef and you get butter from a grass-fed cow and you're drinking whole raw milk from a grass-fed cow, then you're not getting threes. You know, you want to avoid the corn oils, the sunflower, the canola, the soybean. Use coconut oil, olive oil, flaxseed oil, chia seeds, fish and krill oils. I had a patient, and he said his grandfather, old German, when he had krill oil, apple cider vinegar, and sauerkraut every day, he never got sick. It's pretty brilliant. You're getting a lot of probiotics, you're getting a lot of good healthy fats, and apple cider vinegar is going to kill any bad bacteria, so you can keep your gut really strong, which is going to keep your immune system really strong. So what does it do? It minimizes inflammation. You see with a lot of these issues, chronic inflammation. You see anxieties lots of times come with acid reflux or neuropathies or fibromyalgias, because it's just chronic inflammation throughout the body. It just wreaks havoc on your brain and your nervous system. Things are just firing all the time. The nerves get oversensitized because it's just always inflamed. Some good fats. You can have a little coconut oil in your coffee, a little, grass-fed butter on your something. Don't be afraid of fats. We kind of demonize fat. You need a lot of good fat. If you're all fat, then that can be hard on your liver. But a good amount of fat, 20% of the diet, and I don't ever count the amounts, but roughly. Chlorella. If you've ever been to my office, you've heard me talk about this a million times. One of my favorite supplements. It's an algae. It's a multivitamin, multi-mineral, but it's a prebiotic. It's going to feed the probiotics. It's going to minimize inflammation because it has a ton of chlorophyll. It's very alkaline. I have my kids eat it at every meal. My daughter's 2. She's starting to not do it every time. You try. My son's 5. He can pretty much get him to do it. And then, it makes it easier, right? Because it's hard to get kids to eat vegetables all the time. But if you're getting chlorella or spirulina in them every meal, you're getting so much good. So much good. And if you leave here and you just all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to drink a ton of water every day, I'm going to take chlorella, and I'm going to eat sauerkraut, I'm going to quit drinking diet soda. What you've done for your health long term is gigantic. Little consistent steps like that is how you change your trajectory. So Zypan, I know celery juice is really popular right now, but I've been doing it for a couple months now, and it really makes a huge difference. My wife played volleyball in college, and she was having a lot of pain, so they gave her a ton of aspirin, Tylenol, ibuprofen. And we started doing the celery juice, and all of a sudden she started getting nauseous, like every day for a few weeks. We couldn't figure out, so we're reading and looking and trying to find. Well, what it was doing, what we found out is it was cleansing her liver. The salts were cleansing her liver from years before. That stuff will just sit in there. If you've had a lot of like ibuprofen or Tylenol or aspirin, it will sit in your liver and really hurt your kidneys. So it was just cleansing all of that. And it went on for a few weeks, and she felt miserable. And that's another thing. Sometimes you do feel worse temporarily. Don't stop. Stick with it. And Zypan is a standard process. A company I really like. It's out of Wisconsin. They grow most of their own organic vegetables. It's also, basically a digestive enzyme, hydrochloric acid, which is also what you're getting from celery juice. So it's however you want to do it. But I'll tell you, the celery juice works. Try to get organic if you can. If you can't, wash it real good. Even if it's organic, wash it real good too, because there's some snails in there sometimes and things, and dirt. So minerals. Load your body up with minerals, unrefined sea salt. Salt's not the enemy. Iodized salt just has sodium and chloride, okay? An unrefined sea salt or Himalayan salt has like 70 minerals. It has calcium, it has potassium, it has magnesium, along with the sodium and chloride. So it's very healthy. Salt with it. You can put a little in a teaspoon of warm water. Warm just because it dissolves more. One thing you want to do, right, if you, just like anything in business they teach you, or if you want to get in shape, if you document it, right, you just write it down, and then if you write it down and report it, then things usually get done and they change, right? You're just aware, and then so if you have a partner and you both write down what you're eating and drinking every week, sometimes you go, whoa, you don't realize. And then Saturday comes, forget about it, have your fun. But then, Monday morning, let's get back on the horse. And then food allergy, if you're doing everything and nothing's working, you maybe have some food sensitivities. So a food allergy test might be a good thing to do. You do a pinprick, some blood, you send it in, a couple weeks later you get the test. We do them. I think we charge like $250 for it. Other people do it too. But it is a useful test. If you've tried everything and things aren't working, then maybe you got to go deeper. There's always a cause, just not always easy to find. Glandular support. The glandular system is very complicated. I'm not going to get into a lot because it's really hard for you to make that kind of change on your own. The gut is much easier and much more straightforward most of the time. But that would be another thing to look at. The adrenals, the thyroid, the pituitary, that's all going to play a role in what your body's secreting. And if you're feeling anxious or depressed, those can definitely play a role. Saliva test or mineral analysis, food sensitivity test. These are the tests you would want to help with if you were going to go down that road. Exercise. Shown more effective than medications, especially with depression, to get people moving. There are two types that I think are especially healthy. One is the high intensity interval, where you go hard. You can look up waving or read the book Waving. And it actually talks about how marathon runners have slightly better morbidity rates, slightly fewer heart attacks than couch potatoes, which I didn't believe for a long time. Shocking, right? You're running that much, you got to have a good heart. It's not true because it's steady state. The people with the best hearts, the best nervous system, cardiovascular system, are the people who stimulate and then rest. So if you play sports like the wind sprint, and then you stop and you rest, and you wind sprint, you stop and you rest. And you don't have, I understand, I know 80-year-olds that do that. You can do it on an elliptical, you can do it on a bicycle. All you have to do is get your heart rate up. Usually takes 60 to 90 seconds. You can get a heart rate monitor now that you can do the chest, arm, elbow. And with phones now, it's very easy. Get it up to like 80, 100, 120 beats, and then let it come back to whatever your normal resting heart rate is. Usually you're going to exert 60 to 90 seconds, and then in the beginning probably rest 5 to 6 minutes before it comes back down. Do that 5 to 6 times, 2 to 3 times a week. If you're not going to do all that, well then just get on elliptical, go hard for a minute, and then rest. And then go hard for a minute and do that 5, 6, 10, 20 times, depending on how fit you are and whatnot. Do that twice a week. Okay? And then yoga, Tai Chi. Yoga is one of my favorite forms of exercise. I think just the breathing alone, I think if everyone sat down for 15 or 20 minutes every day and just took deep diaphragmatic breaths, you would see we'd all be a lot more focused, a lot calmer, and a lot more relaxed. Close your eyes and take deep breaths. In through the stomach, out through the mouth, and in through the stomach. Breathe through your stomach. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And you have to feel the stomach push out. Then you know the diaphragm's involved. Okay, so it takes a few seconds in, 4 or 5 seconds out. When the diaphragm's involved, you're also tapping into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the nervous system that controls resting and digesting. I tell a lot of my patients these issues, take 20 minutes. You don't have to sleep. Take 20 minutes. Throw on some calming music, or just be silent and breathe for 15 or 20 minutes. Do that every day, and I promise you it will help a little bit. But yoga, if you did something with yoga, with the breathing and the stretching twice a week, high intensity twice a week, be fantastic. Then if you love to lift weights and run, that's great too. Do that along with that. I love running. These will help really make. And meditation is one I do it every afternoon over lunch. A lot of people, think I've never floated around a room like people talk about, but just sitting, being quiet, and breathing for 20, 30, 40 minutes, whatever the time for me makes a huge difference. People are driving and bringing you sick babies and different things, so you gotta. It's easy to let your mind run out of control. So just breathing helps you just kind of do what you can do and you move to the next. So the big thing is money, right? Oh, I don't want to buy this, it's expensive. Over 50% of all bankruptcies are caused by medical bills. It's a lot more expensive to get sick, and then you have, of course, the quality of life. You can't put a price on that. So make your health a priority. Buy food that goes bad. You know there's nothing worse than buying like a $3 avocado and you cut it open and it's black. But that's what you gotta do. Buy food that goes bad. If it doesn't go bad on a shelf, it won't break down in your stomach. Right? You can get a McDonald's burger and you can put it there and it will look, you can get on YouTube and you can see it will look the same in a month. If mold can't grow on it, there's nothing in there. Now, if your family has it once a month, not a big deal. Every night, and I don't want you to leave here feeling bad. I want you to feel like you're empowered. You have the power to take control of your health. You really do. It's simple little things done every day, most of the time, that make huge differences. Huge. Look at your habits. If you want to make a change, I just did an Instagram video on this yesterday, maybe. Maybe this morning. If you want to change your habits, look at lots of times the stimulus, right? If you want to quit eating candy bars, we'll throw them all away. You can't eat it. If you're going to work, don't go past the soda machine, or don't take the change. We only have so much willpower. So control your environment. Get rid of the stuff that's making you sick. And get a partner, or make a public declaration. Right? Very hard. If you get on, most people on social media nowadays, you get on Instagram or Facebook, and you say, I'm doing this, and 30 days, and then you don't do it. Well, it's hard to, you just let the whole world. There's a much better chance you're going to fall through than if you tell no one. And then no one checks in. You have the shame and the disappointment of saying no. That's how you make change. Dream, diet, rest, exercise, alignment, mental health. And again, 5 on 12, you can have your fun, right? You make a lot of deposits, then you can make a withdrawal. Problem is, most people are just withdrawing. Finish up real quick. So the nervous system plays a huge part in this, and I've seen it. Well, the type of chiropractic I do is very different. We don't twist or crack the neck. It's called NUCA, which is an upper cervical atlas technique, and you specifically center the head and the neck, which balances the body's entire alignment. And I've had people with bad anxiety, and their anxiety was virtually gone after we fixed their alignment. Now, gut and different things are also, like I covered, very important. So you want to go at it all the time. But different people have different majors, right? Some people's alignment might be good, but their gut's a total disaster. Other person's gut might be pretty good, and their alignment's a total disaster. So it's a little different for everybody. But it's very different. It's gentle. We take pre and post x-rays and pre and post posture scans to make sure we fixed the issue. Okay? Post x-rays, where you see the head's on straight. And I'll show you one. So my first few years in practice, my back pain started coming back. My wife was adjusting me like every other day for a while. And I just said, then I had patients not getting better, and some getting worse. And some had to come in every other day. I didn't know this is what I was taught in school. I thought I was going to help people. And we did help some people, but we were never fixing someone's alignment. So people had to always come back within 2-3 weeks, right? We were never fixed and come back in 6 months like we do it now. With time. That doesn't happen. I don't want to make false promises. But, so that's what it is. You get the head and neck centered, you take pressure off the spinal cord, the brainstem, you also change blood flow to the brain, and it can make a huge difference for these issues. That's a sample of like an x-ray we do. Gentleman, anxiety and blood pressure, you see them go together a lot. His got much better. Got off, not all the meds, most of them. Little guy, ADHD got better, headaches were gone. So, and just a sample of what NUCA, it can help with a wide variety of issues. Because you're fixing it, you're improving nervous system function, you allow the body to heal. Just like when you heal the gut, a lot of issues can get better, right? I talk about the gut in almost every workshop, whether it's acid reflux, fibromyalgia, neuropathy. Because if you improve how your body processes food and you improve the immune system, you're going to improve it. So include, just watch the sugar. Watch it, watch it, watch it. You know, try some exercise and get a partner, go to your yoga class. If nothing else, just get on some supplements and foods and things that are going to really help that gut heal. It's massive. If nothing else, you can check out the Nuka. Okay? So, got almost all done. A little long. But, so, in conclusion, what's the one thing you can't buy back once you lost it? Your health. So when do most people make that?